would you like to start telling us a little bit about your background? Like who are you and what do you do? What's your story in the short sentences?
Well, I'm diagnosed schizoaffective disorder. I have severe mental illness, and I I consider myself an intellectual, and I like ideas. I like working with ideas. I love ideas, sometimes more than people. And that's where the schizoid personality disorder comes in. I was diagnosed while in the hospital. They observed me for about 7 days, and they noticed my interactions with other patients. I've had several hospitalizations, but they noticed my conflicts with other patients and just my tendency to withdraw and be alone. When I'm in the hospital, I tend to be very solitary, do solitary things. I don't enjoy eating around others or doing anything like that. The DSM criteria, I don't think I quite fit it, but I think, that's the problem, is I do fit the scheme, of the disorder, but in a practical sense, I'm not. Sorry, I lose my train of thought.
That's okay.
It's a bit. I don't know. I've been diagnosed, but I haven't. It wasn't. I have so many other problems that it kind of overshadowed the schizoid diagnosis. But yeah, I've tried treatment, and we can continue to discuss about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you've been diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, and you've also been diagnosed with schizoid personality whilst you were in hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the treatment that you've received, has it been for schizoid personality or other issues?
So I'm going to talk about why you shouldn't self-diagnose, because you can look online and see these lists of symptoms, and they're kind of broad, and you can seem to think you fit into all of them, but it has no real world context. So I always say you should seek professional help if you really do think you have this problem, or any severe mental illness. Don't be afraid to get treatment. There's a lot of stigma and whatnot with that. Nobody wants to be called crazy. There's so much stigma to the word crazy. But yeah, like I was diagnosing myself, and I thought I had Asperger's. So I thought I was on the autistic spectrum because of my inability to read people's emotions. So I was going around cookouts passing out pamphlets about Asperger's, thinking I'm autistic. And actually, I had myself tested and psychologically tested, and they said I was not autistic. I did not have Asperger's. What I was suffering was more from a psychotic nature. So yeah, that's just my spiel on why you shouldn't self-diagnose.
Right. So the treatments that you've been receiving in the past, were they specifically related to schizoid personality, do you think, or other challenges? Like, I know it's kind of difficult to make that distinction, but I'm just curious.
The schizoid personality, we know that most people like that don't even seek treatment. You know, it's not an issue. They can still be functional. As far as my disability, the disability more so comes from my other mental illnesses, I think. Because like I've always been a loner. I've always been, you know, more to myself. People just know me as that. And it's not as big of an issue as, I mean, I don't want to minimize schizoid personality disorder at all, but um, my the comorbidities associated with it tend to be what gets people into treatment. So more so, I had terrible depression for most of my 20s. Um, it was a type of depression that wasn't really sustainable, really. And those things that go along with schizoid disorder, anxiety, and everything else, those things are very treatable, you know. So it's important to get treatment for those comorbidities and just keep trying, you know, keep trying, don't give up, keep trying different things, see what works, and you can lead a better life. Uh, my depression, I've tried many different antidepressants, nothing worked. I tried therapy. I've been in therapy several occasions. That didn't help. Uh, so eventually, as a last resort treatment, I was, you know, desperate for some kind of relief from the depression. Um, I asked for electroconvulsive therapy, which that therapy has, it's a last resort kind of therapy where you have, they electrocute your brain basically to induce a seizure, and it sort of resets your brain. It's effective 80% of the time in treating depression. So I had that. I had 12 ECT treatments in 2017, I think, and that greatly improved my quality of life. Like after that, the depression was very manageable. I think my antidepressant worked better, and all of that jazz. So, like I say, it's treatment for those comorbidities. You don't have to suffer with them.
Yeah. And what was it like for you to go through this treatment?
Uh, it was an experience. Uh, um, you don't really remember much of it because it has the only the side effect of it is an effect on your memory that you don't tend to remember events around the time of the procedures.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah. What else?
So you don't really remember much around this treatment, but you
No.
feel like your life improved afterwards.
Yes.
And right now, what are your sort of main challenges that you face? If
Well,
any, maybe not.
no, I do have my challenges. As far as in the realm of relationships, I have few relationships, but the ones I have are okay. Yeah, like yesterday I was talking to my German friend for an hour and a half, and we talk maybe once a month or so, you know. And I have a functioning relationship with my mom. I spend a lot of time with the person who gave birth to me, my mother, and we hang out. She lives down the hall in another apartment. Um, And one thing I'm still struggling with and still getting better at is parties and social outings. Like I go to all the family functions and whatnot from my immediate family, and not getting overstimulated. That's a big issue, is not getting overstimulated in social situations, because you know I can be hyper vigilant and whatnot, and just not not getting overwhelmed. You know, everybody's at the party drinking, talking, enjoying each other's conversations. I'm just trying to keep up with the flow of conversation, and not really wanting to talk about something intellectual, get people talking about something intellectual, you know, rather than just mindless small talk, which I call it mindless small talk, which I try to. I struggle sometimes from day to day, just getting things done. I have motivational issues, you know, but I get help with that. You know, I have a home health aide, and I get everything I need to get done, everything that needs to get done. But beyond that, sometimes I don't do everything I want to do, but what I have to do is done.
Right. So you were saying that one of the major issues or challenges that you've been experiencing is related to relationships and I guess connecting with people and um, overstimulation in social situations. From your perspective, how do you attribute these challenges? Like, what do you attribute it to? Is it your schizoid personality? Is it your depression? Is it something else? Is it the schizoaffective disorder?
I always call it the negative symptoms of schizophrenia, which is one of the biggest failings of modern psychiatry. Is a negative symptom of schizophrenia. There's not much treatment for it. My doctor would tell me it's very hard to treat. And that's the negative symptoms, like things that not negative in the sense that they're bad, but in the sense that it takes away from the person or personality, like abolition, poverty of will, logia, poverty of speech, anhedonia, of course, inability to feel pleasure, and apathy, general apathy. But I tend to attribute that to that, but you know, it could be both. You know, it could be also be a schizoid that's contributing to it. That could make it worse, unfortunately. Yeah.
Right. So you feel that you maybe social challenges are due to these negative symptoms.
Yes.
But you're not certain whether it's because of the schizoaffective disorder or because of the schizoid personality. Because yeah, there's some overlaps, I guess. If you were to make that distinction, in your own opinion, between the schizoid personality and schizophrenia, could you make it?
Yeah, I would make the distinction, but basically based on disability, because not all schizoid, not as many schizoid, I guess, are disabled by their symptoms. Whereas the negative symptoms of schizophrenia, they tend to be disabling. So I guess that's one distinction. Yeah.
Anything else comes to your mind?
Like I asked my doctor, you know, what's the difference between the schizopersonality disorder and schizopersonality and the schizophrenia symptoms, and he said The schizoid personality is more of a life pattern, whereas the schizophrenia is more of a specific onset of a disease, you know.
Right.
So that's one distinction. I'm not a professional, so I only know what I read. But yeah, it's hard to distinguish between the two. I think mostly they both have anhedonia, which really sucks, you know. Not being able to enjoy much of anything at all. But you know, labels are only as good as their prescriptions. So whatever treatment modalities work for your symptoms, I think that's what you should go with.
Yeah. So are you currently receiving treatment? I know that you said before that you're receiving treatment for depression. It's way more manageable now after your electroconvulsive therapy before. What about the schizophrenia side of things? Are you receiving treatment now?
Oh yes, I take many medications. They do polypharmacy on me. I take two different. I take an antipsychotic, antidepressant, mood stabilizer, anti-anxiety. You know, I am under psychiatric treatment for my psych illnesses, most definitely, and it's important to get treatment sooner rather than later, because the sooner you get treatment, the better your prognosis is. And so I would just say, don't be afraid to get treatment. Don't care about the stigma. You know, people are going to believe what they're going to believe. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine it might be, sometimes difficult for someone who, might be in similar situation to you. They might have both the schizoid personality and schizoaffective disorder. So how would a person know when to get that treatment? So it's, that the earliest they do it, the better. What's your opinion on that?
Well, from my opinion, what people is really only a disorder if you need to seek treatment for it. You know, as far as personality disorders go, I've heard that about narcissism. You know, it's only a disorder if that person, if it's greatly affecting their functioning in life. So I would, if it's affecting your functioning in life, I would try to get help. You know, everybody needs help sometimes, so don't be afraid to get help.
Yeah. And have you had experiences with therapy, psychotherapy?
Oh yes, I tried several occasions. The first therapist I went to, he was like, he refused to work with me. Said I was too intelligent for him, and couldn't. He didn't want to treat me. After that, when I did the psychological testing I talked about earlier, I started therapy after that. But then I had transportation issues that didn't pan out. Then another occasion later on, I tried traditional therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Well, she used different things on it, but I've had bad experiences with therapy, unfortunately to say. It always left me feeling frustrated and irritated. That's another thing. I get very irritable. That's one thing that you have to deal with is the irritability. You get that. the therapy, I felt like it was too limiting. Like, it's hard to explain, but I felt as though there wasn't only one way to be, that that there's a that there's different ways of existing in the world beyond um, the neurotypical way of living. So
Yeah.
um when I tried that therapy, well, I know that psychoanalytical therapy can make schizophrenia worse. So overall, I don't think, unfortunately, therapy doesn't work for everybody. Like, even the therapist said I don't get much benefit from talking, and she wasn't able to get me to where she wanted to go by talking to me. So I tend to do things better on my own. I tend to treat myself better, push myself. I don't like being, we don't like being pushed. It's that push that they give you that sort of push you off, and feels like they're trying to not control you, but just trying to change your fundamental beliefs, it feels like. And yeah, that's always, you have to find, I bet it was also, she was a child therapist, actually. She specialized in child therapy. So you have to find the right therapist to treat that too. And so many people are just worried about fixing the worry well. They don't want to really handle the people with severe mental illness,
Yeah.
But yeah, it
So it
didn't work.
was for.
Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead. Sorry, I thought.
Like I said, it hasn't worked for me, but it works for people. If I would say, give it a shot if you think it could help you. It doesn't work for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So for you, you said it was frustrating because there was this kind of maybe expectation that there's only one way that you should be, or you should exist in this world, and they were trying to push you towards that one way.
Yeah.
Is that what you meant? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So from what would need to change maybe in a therapist or in the idea of therapy for you to find it maybe less frustrating or less irritating, more helpful?
Have a non-judgmental. I kind of feel like I was judged by the therapist,
Oh.
being non-judgmental, um, having like radical acceptance, whatever you want to call it. I mean, she did get me in touch sort of with my emotions. But you have to choose the right therapist, someone who shares your worldview, somebody who you're compatible with. And being a schizoid, that might make it that much harder to find the right person to do that. So yeah.
So more acceptance, less judgment.
Mm-hmm.
You said that, I guess partially because of your experiences with therapy, you said you seem to be doing better on your own. What did you mean by that?
I mean, like I get myself out of my own comfort zone. I'm better at not being pushed. I'm better at just figuring things out on my own. I go sometimes and I petition for certain political causes I'm passionate about, socialism and whatnot. I petition for Bernie Sanders, and so that I just felt like the therapist was just getting in the way, getting in the way.
I
Uh,
see.
Um, you know, like I said, I go to family outings. And, Christmas went well. Thanksgiving went well. You know, I handle my health better on my own. You know, I'm getting more physically healthy. I had gastric bypass surgery, which that also helped my quality of life some. I've lost 100 pounds.
Hmm.
Um, uh, yeah, I forgot what the question was. What's the question? I have cognitive symptoms. Sorry.
Well, that's okay. And you did you did stay on the subject. I was kind of reflecting back on like how you said that you do better on your own rather than with therapy because of your past bad experiences with therapy. So you clearly said that you seem to be happy with the way or the direction your life is going to. Like you said, you started improving like with your health and with your family, things are going pretty well there. And you do petitions for like, political causes or causes that you're passionate. So you do seem to be managing. How would you say you're managing all that? How you're handling all these challenges, I guess, related to schizophrenia and all these comorbidities? Like, do you have any maybe strategies or tips to share?
One thing that helps when I'm irritated and overstimulated a lot is just writing things down. Like talking to people to me doesn't help talking to other people. So I just
Hmm.
write it all down and write the offensive stuff I want to say down. And I find that something as simple as that can be pretty therapeutic. When that's not enough, I I believe science is one of the greatest pinnacles of human achievement. So I use medication, uh, to help manage my symptoms, to make my brain more normal. Uh, I use medication. Some people have problems. A lot of people, I think, well, that's why they struggle. They don't take their medication, which
Mm.
does. So getting them to take their medication, is half the battle. But luckily,
Mhm.
I've always taken my medication. I've always liked my doctors, and I've always, you know, been in that camp. So uh, I um, would say, uh, don't be afraid to get medication.
Right. So you generally use, I guess, writing, journaling, this kind of tools to help you process your feelings, your emotions, especially the frustrations or irritability. And you also feel that the medications are really helping you. And it's something that other people would need to try if they're in a similar situation.
Yes.
And as a kind of last question, I don't want to keep you too long. Um, what are your maybe plans for the future? How do you envision your life unfolding? Or maybe any goals or aspirations that you have?
Well, I'm actually an aspiring author. I'm writing a memoir about my journey through schizoaffective disorder, and depression and schizoid and everything.
Mhm.
So I want to finish that. Going's been slow. I've got it's about halfway done.
Oh, perfect.
But yeah, um, I've gotten more uh, stable as time has went on. So my goal is to stay stable, survive and thrive. That's my motto.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, I hope to. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, I hope I get married and have kids. You know, I don't think you need other people to live for in life. I see myself as I want to live a long life. You know, I want to live a long, healthy life. You know, I want to keep on keeping on. Keep doing what I'm doing, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Live a healthy life, focusing on your writing,
Mm-hmm.
and doing basically the best you can with what you have.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say with the schizoid disorder, I just feel like I see myself as a lover of the truth. That's the definition of a philosopher, and that it's I found that people have different goals in life. You know, I mean, people have different intentions and different goals. So I think my goal or my purpose maybe is to make people think. I like to make people think, and I think that's okay. You know, I think people need to think more. And I truly believe it takes all kinds. You know, not just we need the outline. Not everyone can be on the bell curve. You know? But and like I said, I don't think there's one right way to be in the world. I believe in all types of diversity. So yeah, I would just say that it's okay to be you. What's wrong with that?
Perfect. And do you have any website or blog or a YouTube channel if you would like to share with people, if you like to be found, maybe?
AllSeeingEye on YouTube. I took my videos down because I got paranoid, and so I'm at AllSeeingEye and on Twitter and on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, on Twitter and YouTube. AllSeeingEye.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I'll post the links in the descriptions.
Okay, thank you. Well. I have a lot of good clips.
Perfect. Right. So is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything that maybe we missed that you consider important?
Just the schizoid. I want people to know that, understand that schizoid, when it comes to love and affection, we don't develop those feelings as often towards other people as normal people do. You know, so you know, I only tend to fall in love when the stars and the moon are rise. What I say. So, and so yeah, we might seem cold and distant, but that's just who we are, and maybe just accept that. I don't know.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for taking time. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your insights and sharing your experiences with all of us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.